Here we go. My name's Todd.
This is Cathy.
Welcome back to another episode of Zen Parenting Radio. This is podcast number 707. Why listen to Zen Parenting Radio? Because you'll feel outstanding. And always remember our motto, which is the best predictor of a child's well-being is a parent's self-understanding. On today's show, it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
We are going to, why don't you tell everybody what we're going to do, and then I'll make an announcement or two.
Okay, great. So I love that it's 707 because, 7 is my favorite number.
Mm-hmm.
And the title of the show is called The Movies That Matter. And Todd and I are going to share movies that, like, for example, their categories.
Oh, dear.
Uh-oh.
That's the first big problem of today, but we'll get through it.
We'll get through it because, Todd, mistakes happen.
Yes, they do.
So there's, like, for example, favorite Western, favorite 80s comedy, that kind of thing. And Todd and I do not know each other's answers. Like, we don't know what we're going to say to these.
No.
And we are going to not just say, here's my answer, but why, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be kind of a deep dive into the things that we love and why we love it. And for me, I don't know about you, Todd, but for me, they're not surfacey reasons.
No.
There's like a deep reason, The two reasons that I wanted to do this on Zen Parenting Radio is, number one, we have another podcast called Pop Culturing that many of you may already subscribe to or follow. This is our pop culturing music.
Yeah.
And we have been doing pop culturing for years, but we've just kind of come back and done 3 or 4 movies lately, or TV shows. We did The Hangover. We did Grease. We did Three's Company, which was really funny. And then we just did About Last Night. So Todd and I love doing that podcast. It's so fun because and it's not really that separate from Zen Parenting because we talk about movies and TV shows, but we have this like self-awareness, perspective on it. Like, where are these people? What's going on at this time? Jeez.
Come and knock on our door.
All right. Sorry, I just always have to play that.
As we were doing the Three's Company pop culturing, he kept playing that.
I played that throughout the entire podcast.
It's making me laugh. So anyway, it's deeper than just, this is my favorite movie. There's reasons. The other reason that I thought this might be important for Zen Parenting, even if you choose not to follow pop culturing, is because these are the kind of things that Todd and I do in our family. We play these kind of games with our girls, like, what are your favorite songs? What are your favorite movies? Why? What TV show would you, if you were, or if it'd be books, if you were on a desert island, what book would you bring with you? Why? Has that changed? We just talk about pop culture a lot in our parenting because I think you can get a lot more answers and understanding about your kids through things that are a little more, I want to use the word safe, but things that are more about their interests. And it tells you a lot about who they are, what they value, like the books that they choose, or the movies that really inspire them. Why? It somehow connects to their lives, or something that they're trying to vocalize, or something that they are trying to share. So we just wanted to share that this is kind of one of these things that we do in our family. And this is something that Todd and I just do all the time, just as a couple. We love to talk about this stuff. And we also have this other podcast, Pop Culturing. So it felt very multi-layered and important.
We'll try to tie some meaning into it. But I'm more excited about just sharing clips and stories about how I experience film.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So first, I want to say thank you to Tammy from California. She's our newest Team Zen member. I feel like Team Zen should have its own theme song, so we'll have to work on that. And a busy week for Team Zen. So if you don't know what Team Zen is, you pay us $25, you get access to everything we do. And this week there's a Raising Healthy Sons micro community. There's a Zen talk on Thursday, I guess.
Okay.
It's Thursday,
and that's where Todd and I just do a Q&A.
We have Mike Domish coming in to speak to Team Zen on May 16th
about
consent.
And he is somebody who focuses on how to decrease and sexual assault and make people more aware of how to practice consent and understand what it means.
And then Friday, May 12th, John Duffy and myself are going to be hosting a virtual class called Understanding Our Sons. So hopefully you decide to join. You can cancel at any time, $25, and that's just the
tip of the iceberg.
Tip of the iceberg
for Team Zen.
So now, part of me feels like we should just rip through the categories so they know
No.
where we're going?
Oh, rip through the categories. I
Yeah.
thought you were going to say all of our answers. I'm
No,
like,
no.
that's awful.
So and just so everybody knows, I didn't spend a lot of time on my list. I don't think you did either. And we're inviting you all to make your own, as you're listening to this podcast,
Yeah, make your own
think
list.
to yourself, what is your favorite movie or your favorite Tom Hanks movie? So
And before you do
Go
that, one of the things I do with my college kids is when they're writing their final papers, which I'm just about to start reading this week. So, is that when they give me their outline of what they're going to do, I say, what is your topic? And then give me a few paragraphs about why. I don't want you to just choose a topic because you think I'm going to like it or because you think it's going to be easy or whatever. Why do you like this topic?
Yes.
And I feel like that gives them a better indication. Is this the right direction? So that's the thing about this list is when you come up with a movie, why? In your own mind, you can have fun and go on a date with your spouse and talk about all these things, or you can do this with your kids. I think it's really, it's a way to get to know each other without having it feel so invasive.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So favorite movie.
Okay.
And then you wrote childhood memory.
Yeah. Childhood memory movie.
Childhood memory movie. Okay. Favorite Tom Hanks movie, makes you cry, sports movie, courtroom movie, 80s movie, comedy, war, Western, horror, mob, overrated. Oh, I didn't come up with one for overrated.
Overrated.
Romantic, musical, watch over and over, best soundtrack, embarrassed to love, Christmas movie, and sequel.
And I want to throw one other on here, Tom.
Okay.
I know I didn't give you this, but a movie that didn't fit the categories, but you wish there was a category for.
Sure.
Like a movie you love that you couldn't fit it in.
Sure.
But it's
write mine down right now.
Okay, I know what mine is too. So
Good.
Okay.
So I put down for my favorite movie.
So number one, are you going to do any drum rolls or anything?
There's gonna be a lot of drum rolls if I start. We'll just do drum roll on the first one. How about that one?
All right, let's get going.
The drum roll for my favorite movie of all time is Empire Strikes Back.
All right.
Da, 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 da,
I feel like that could have had a few categories here.
I'm sure it could have. And part of me always feels guilty for saying Empire is my favorite over Star Wars because I feel like Star Wars is the most impactful movie I've ever. I was 5 years old. My dad said, we're going to see this movie called Star Wars. He picked me up in a Plymouth, a white Plymouth. I remember the color of it.
Wow.
And I didn't understand all of it. I knew Darth Vader was bad and Luke was good. But Empire Strikes Back is a more compelling movie. And Yoda is in there.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a big part of why Empire Strikes Back is as good as it is.
I like when Yoda is pretending that he's not Yoda at the beginning and that he's just like a silly green guy in the Dagobah system.
I am going to play clips from some movies here. And this is Luke and...
What you have learned.
All right, I'll give it a try.
No. Why not? Do. Or do not. There is no try.
That might be the best line ever from Master Yoda or in general.
And, Yoda, I don't know if he had little Yodas of his own, except because Baby Yoda is different. The Mandalorian, Baby Yoda, and I'm forgetting his name and everyone's going to be mad.
Right.
But I only watched the first season. I haven't watched the next, but he, Yoda is a parenting teacher in a way, he's
or being human being teacher.
Yes, let's just do that. He is just a human being teacher. And, I can't tell you how often I use his quotes. I even in the book I wrote, the amount I talked about unlearning what we have learned, because that's kind of always the goal with parenting is how can you offer your kids things that they don't have to do so much unlearning as they get older.
That's a really good way of tying in some parenting philosophy on this podcast.
Oh, believe me.
Because all I'm trying to do is let go of the baggage I picked up growing up. And that's what Master Yoda is saying is instead of unlearning, let's not pick up the bags.
Yeah.
And our kids are going to come up with their own bags. Let's not pass our bags down to them.
Fewer bags, #fewer bags.
Less bags.
All right.
What do you got?
So my favorite movie is Spotlight.
Oh my gosh. I thought you were going to say Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
I know. Well, there was another category for that.
Yes. Oh, you're being a little strategic.
I am. My favorite movie is Spotlight because I am so inspired. Spotlight just got me through a lot of hard times where I was concerned about that people would get away with things, that love wouldn't win, that people would give up or allow bad things to happen, and that no one would show up and do anything about it. And as we know, Spotlight, maybe you don't, but Spotlight is about the Boston Globe uncovering the priest scandal, the fact that priests were molesting children and then just basically being moved around from parish to parish, and there wasn't anything being done about it. The cover up, it just went on forever. And the movie is not about the priest per se, it's about the journalism. And so the fact that, when I don't really talk about, it's not that I'm saying to people all the time, my favorite movie Spotlight. It's just sometimes people are like, oh, isn't that about the, the priest scandal? That's kind of heavy.
No,
it's not
about journalism.
It's about journalism, and it's about people willing to do hard work and stand up for what they believe in. There's so many scenes where people like, Michael Keaton's character toward the end, where he's like, oh, this is how it happens.
Yeah, this is how it all happens.
You're trying to have me roll over. So, it's just, you see how easy it can be to let corruption continue. And I just am very, Todd, how many times have you seen Spotlight?
We watched it last night.
We watch it all.
It's a good night. It's a good movie for us to fall asleep to, because it's not a lot of loudness, even though I'm about to play a loud scene.
Are you going to do they
They knew. But before I do that, just to try to tie some parental meaning into some of these movie selections, let's teach our kids what's appropriate, what's not appropriate.
Absolutely. Right? Starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And then let's
Earlier
also
the better.
Be a place where when kids tell us things, that we believe them and we follow through, and actually, and I feel like in this generation, that's much more common.
Yeah.
But historically, there wasn't a lot of listening. And the thing, I don't want to go too, far down this path, but like the Larry Nassar case, the thing that was so interesting to me with that was the gymnasts who were being molested by their trainer, is that the girls were telling people, but they weren't always believing them.
Yeah.
And sometimes that was their parents, sometimes that was the other trainers, or they were covering up for Larry. And just the fact that adults are more concerned about that than, whatever the cover up is, or concerned about how people are going to view gymnastics overall. I mean, look at it, all fell apart, and they have had to build up anyway. So I just find it to be just another reminder of living in our integrity.
Boom. Oh, wrong one.
And they let it happen to kids. Okay? It could have been you. It could have been me. It could have been any of us. We got to nail these scumbags. We got to show people that nobody can get away with this. Not a priest or a cardinal or a freaking pope.
Oh, goosebumps.
So Mike Resendiz is my favorite character in this. It's Mark Ruffalo. And I just watch him act in this movie. And I'm kind of annoying because I'll be like, look how he said that. Look how he did that. Like he's not the only one. Everybody's good in this movie. I mean, I love to watch them act. And I don't even feel like they're acting. That sounds like I'm saying I love to watch them line read.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Ready next category?
Go ahead.
Childhood memory.
Let's hear it.
I decided to go with this. Every time I feel like I'm 5 years old when I hear this.
I know, it's so good.
And I feel like I need to turn all the lights off in my basement and get my lightsaber.
And then Todd does, he puts his arms up in the air and walks around for a while.
We did that to our wedding. This was our wedding.
We did that to our wedding.
When we walked out in the reception.
We walked out to Star Wars.
This is the song that we went.
And Todd puts his arms up in the air. And
it was like, I am king of the world. Because if there's ever a song that wants to get me motivated, it's that. So I don't need to talk about Star Wars. You've all seen it. It's just, it defined my youth.
So Todd, we have a theme going for you so far.
Yes, we do.
My favorite childhood memory, and also in my top 1 or 2 favorite movies, is Wizard of Oz.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Why is Wizard of Oz?
Because it defined my childhood. I related to Dorothy not kind of getting what was going on. I understood her desire to find people who understood. I understood why she wanted that connection with those characters. And I loved that the bottom line was that she took care of people.
Who's your favorite?
Scarecrow, for sure.
Don't you think Scarecrow's if you're just choosing between Tin Man, Scarecrow, and Lion, most people choose Scarecrow?
I don't know. I think he's the most fatherly figure type. I think he's the first person that, she comes across. So it's her first companion, besides Toto, of course. And I just feel like Ray Bolger, it's like hard to remember. Ray Bolger was the guy who played him. It's hard to remember what came first with my memories, because I've been, people who've listened to the show a long time know this, but I dressed up as Dorothy for 3-4 years in a row when I was a kid. I had no other costume. And in my meditation area, I have a lot of Wizard of Oz stuff. Like, yeah.
How old was Judy when she did this?
Judy Garland was 15 years old.
Oh my gosh.
So, and then the love of Judy Garland as well. And, there's a lot, but I could do, like, there's so many books I've read about the Wizard of Oz and how much spirituality is in it and universal truth and, how we perceive reality. And it's a deepie.
So my next, the category is best Tom Hanks movie.
Favorite Tom Hanks. I think we're going to have the same one.
I don't think we are.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm not even going to say what it is. Instead, I'm going to play a clip from it.
Okay.
I don't look like myself, okay? But something really strange happened, and I'm really scared. I need you to help me, my best friend. I can bring it to you. Oh, the space goes down, down, baby, down, down the roller coaster. Sweet, sweet baby, sweet, sweet, don't let me go. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa bop, shimmy, shimmy, rock, shimmy, shimmy, cocoa bop, shimmy, shimmy, rock.
I met a girlfriend, a Triscuit. She said a Triscuit, a biscuit, ice cream, soda pop, vanilla on the top. Ooh, Shalita, walking down the street 10 times a week. I met it, I said it, I stole my mama's credit. I'm cool, I'm hot. Suck you in the stomach 3 more times.
Here we
Sweetie,
go.
what's the movie?
Big.
I was gonna go Gump, but I decided to get creative. Do I like Big more than Gump? I don't know.
Todd, I chose Big.
Did you really?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. How could you not have chose Forrest Gump?
I had Forrest Gump written down first. And then when the question is favorite Tom Hanks movie.
Oh, interesting.
And Tom Hanks is amazing in everything. Okay. Like
Yeah.
Castaway could have been on the list. Forrest Gump. We watch Apollo 13 over and over. But the best Tom Hanks performance is Big.
Yeah.
Was
he nominated for an Oscar? But he did not win.
He did not even close.
So it's just to try to tie some parenting strings around Big. What I get out of it is don't forget what it's like to be young. And I remember towards the end of the movie when Tom Hanks really starts, Josh Baskin's character really starts to inhabit the adult world. He's in his hair slowly becomes like there's an evolution.
Yeah.
And he goes from
wearing
that
crazy
stupid
suit
blue thing to looking like a normal adult. And then his best friend has to basically grab him and say, you've forgotten who you are. So let us not forget who we are.
It's very Calvin and Hobbes, right?
Yes. Oh,
So yes, I'm with you on that. So I don't know if we need to do more because I agree.
All right, beautiful. So next category is makes you cry. I didn't think really hard about this one, but once again, instead of sharing what it is, I'm going to just play the clip.
Okay.
Mr. Keating, they made everybody sign Anderson. You got to believe me, it's true.
I do believe you, Tom. Leave, Mr. Keating.
But it wasn't his fault.
Sit down, Mr. Anderson. One more outburst from you or anyone else, and you're out of this school. Leave, Mr. Keating. I said leave, Mr. Keating.
Captain, my captain.
Sit down, Mr. Anderson.
I get teary just
Oh
hearing
my
it.
God, it's just
You hear me?
goosebumps.
Sit down.
Todd Anderson.
I've seen that scene a bazillion times. I judge myself for not being able to feel my feelings, and it is not happening in this moment. I have goosebumps going all the way up and down my backbone. And it's so funny, the power of these movies that helps a guy like me who judges himself too harshly about not being able to feel his feelings lands for me. And it's just so wonderful. And it's because Ethan Hawke's character, Todd, is doing at the time the most courageous thing he's ever done in his entire life.
And he, you know, as a good movie does, you earn that ending because Todd, that's not who Todd is when you meet him.
Yeah.
And the things that he has to go through and experience for him to get to a place where he chooses integrity and he chooses what's right, you know, and seeing through the bull. I know we're not supposed to, swear on this show.
BS.
The BS. He stands up for what's right.
Okay. What do you got, babe?
Well, the movie that made me cry, because I cry at everything.
Yeah,
So the movie that made me cry the hardest in my lifetime was Billy Elliot.
Ooh.
So it's another movie that you have to dive in and how do I say this? The movie, it's not that it's that easy to watch. Sometimes it's hard to understand what they're saying. There's a lot of difficult moments, but the ending of the movie, and those of you who have seen it, so you already know everything, just go watch the YouTube clip of the end of this movie again. The relationship between the father, the brother, and Billy, and the best friend who shows up at the ballet at the end too. I remember exactly where I was, Todd. We were living on Schubert in Chicago, and I was sitting in bed. And I could not breathe at the end when I started. And again, it hit me in that place of being seen and the parent and the, how they showed up for him and what he did and the overcome. I mean, it's like every layer of what I find to be
right.
Beautiful.
Well, and the ending is, and I know you just talked about
that's everything
unreal.
that it's about. Yeah.
So I don't know this movie as well as I know most of these others. So I don't know if this is the best scene because it might be a lot of visual, but it's called Billy's acceptance letter scene.
Oh, that's a great scene too. Yeah. Go ahead. Is he reading it?
Oh.
Mm.
Yeah. That clip is not going to play well on the podcast.
So I kind of talked over him, but he said I got in. They've been waiting to see, because Billy, when he goes to the tryout, which that in itself, getting him to that place is so difficult. And when he gets to the tryout, he actually ends up getting in a fight. He dances lovely, but they're like, the reason that they end up letting him in is when they ask him why he wants to dance. And his answer is, I won't give that away, but then the end is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that movie, I really can't watch it the end because I have a hard time.
Yes, you do. And it's powerful for sure. Okay. Next category is sports.
Yep.
I had a two-way tie here.
Okay. Wait, I had so many two-way ties and I didn't do it because I knew you'd be angry if I did two-way ties.
Fine, I'll choose it then. Here we go.
Okay.
Anything bad about Millie, I break his neck.
Excuse me, guys. I got a game to pitch here.
Mira, una brujería. Yo no sé. Hey, you guys, don't throw me anything. My girlfriend put a curse on my glove.
I'll take the X off the fucking glove. Give me the glove.
Well, then you got to cut the head off a live rooster.
What the hell's going on out there?
Looks like a convention. Pretty soon they're going to call the roll.
Excuse me, what the hell's going on out here?
Well, Nook's scared because his eyelids are jammed and his old man's here. We need was it a live rooster? We need a live rooster to take the curse off Jose's glove, and nobody seems to know what to get Millie or Jimmy for their wedding present. Is that about right?
That's right.
We're dealing with a lot of shit.
Well,
Candlesticks.
candlesticks always make a nice gift, and
All right.
Todd is going to keep play these too long because he likes them so much.
I do. Do you know what the two-way
Bull
tie was?
Durham.
Yeah. No, I know, but do you know what I
Let's see. Bull Durham or not Tin Cup.
No.
What?
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. Okay. So all Kevin Costner.
Oh yeah. The one other thing I appreciate about Kevin Costner is he is a natural athlete. He knows how to play golf because you can see that in Tin Cup. He knows how to play baseball. So yes, that's just another bonus because it does annoy me when they hire actors that don't know how to play the sport.
which will be interesting because this is one of these my movie is one of these actors that people sometimes aren't sure he knows how to play. And I chose Jerry Maguire.
Oh,
So I know that it's not necessarily just about the sport. It's about a sports agent,
sure.
but there's so much, sports in it.
right.
Jerry Maguire is in my top 5 favorite movies. I love Jerry Maguire. I love it. And it's weird because I don't love necessarily the relationship between Renee Zellweger and Tom Cruise. I remember seeing Jerry Maguire for the first time and I didn't buy it. I was like, I don't know if they'll stay together. What I love is Jerry's relationship with Rod. That's the relationship I love.
Speaking of which,
Be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay? Help me. Help me. Help you. Help me. Help you.
I love Rod's face in this moment.
so good.
Help me, help you.
Help. Yeah, that's a solid choice.
Okay, good.
Nice job.
Okay,
any
Like any other
parenting tie-in you want to do with Jerry Maguire?
I mean, I mean, like I said, it's not necessarily parenting as much as we're talking about relationships. And I think what I love about Jerry Maguire is I love the way it begins because it begins with Jerry having what we call a breakdown or a breakthrough or whatever it may be, where he realizes he's been doing work. I've used this word 80 times today. That's not in his integrity. Are we seeing a through line here? And that he realizes that the kind of agent he is never who he wanted to be. So he makes a decision. I'm not going to be this agent anymore. And then there's a huge fallout because of it. So the whole movie is about the fallout. And then he figures out why he had to go through that journey.
Next category is courtroom.
Yeah, courtroom, Todd.
And I want you to choose first because I'm hoping you choose the one that I was going to choose so I could choose a different one.
Okay, I chose To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
And why did you choose that one?
Because it's probably the most, it's one of those movies that I think I first watched with my aunt when I was little, because it's one of her favorite movies and books. And then I have a story that I've shared before on the show that one time I got in trouble with the police when I was in high school. And my mom and dad came to get me, and it wasn't a big deal. It was like trespassing. Don't everybody worry. But I had to come home, and I remember my parents, we were up. It was middle of the night, and so I laid in my mom's bed with her, and we watched To Kill a Mockingbird on WGN. And it was one of those moments where I was like, Cathy, who do you want to be?
Yeah.
I would much rather be in the place that Atticus Finch is in. Not that it's apples and oranges, what I was experiencing, but I'm going to use the word again, integrity.
Had it not been for this movie, who knows how you would have ended up, sweetie?
I could have been still trespassing through lots of parks.
Was the evidence of her offense? Tom Robinson, a human being. She must put Tom Robinson away from her.
Good old Atticus.
Atticus Finch, man. And he stood up, he's like a hero of our time. Like he's somebody who knew what was right. He understood everybody's dignity, all human value, and he taught his children to do the same. And so there is that parenting. And I find it all so fascinating, like and maybe people know this, I have read the book several times, but where is the other parent? Where, all these things in this movie that are really interesting as far as relationships goes. Boo Radley's, experience in town and the kid's relationship with him. There's just layers and layers and layers.
I was gonna go with A Few Good Men.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm shocked that you didn't choose A Few Good Men.
Well, I mean, it isn't one of my favorite movies, Todd. I've seen it a million times, but it's not for me what it is for you.
I don't know if this scene from a different movie that I'm about to play is better than A Few Good Men, but I just felt compelled to play it.
So you're doing a different movie right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, now, ladies and gentlemen of the of the jury, on January 4th of this year.
Might be one of
You
the
have to
funniest.
choose My Cousin Vinny instead.
Might be. Yeah, I did. My
You did
choice
instead?
is My Cousin Vinny.
Okay, good.
But that might be one of the funniest movie moments of all time.
Even our children were the funniest part is about when doesn't he sit down and say something like, I did pretty well.
He's like, I'm getting better.
Getting better.
Yeah, that's right. So good.
It's so good.
Okay. And as far as this is a great movie to watch with your kids. It's not too dirty or not too much cussing.
Yeah.
And it's
it's
funny.
got
It ages well because our kids are very critical
very.
of the movies that we invite them to watch from our youth. And they'll just say, yeah, that wasn't good.
They'll be
But
like,
they
"No."
did like My Cousin Vinny.
Well, and the whole Marissa Tomei thing, I mean, she's a great female character
Mhm.
in this movie. Like their relationship is, what she's willing to do and then what she's willing to not do. And then obviously she won an Academy Award for that movie. So her time on the stand and explaining Cars is just a classic scene.
Truth. Okay, do you want me to go next or do you
Sure,
want
you
to?
go 80s.
So this is 80s.
I actually did have 2 for this, but I am going to just stick with the one, but just say the second one.
Here we go.
Top of the morning, officer. Hi. Is there something I can help you with?
The hell are you driving here?
We had a small fire last night, but we caught it in the nick of time.
You have any idea how fast you were going?
Well, funnily enough, I was just talking to my friend about that. Our speedometer's melted, and as a result, it's very hard to say with any degree of accuracy exactly how fast we were going.
78 miles an hour.
78, huh? Well, yeah, I could buy that. Sure, I guess. You would know better than us, especially since we got a melted speedometer.
Oh, Del Griffith.
Do you know what the best is to listen to John Candy is his little laughs at the end of sentences.
So that is from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles in my top 5 for certain. It's just the most heartwarming, endearing, weird movie. It's a comedy, but it also gets really serious at the end.
Steve Martin has a huge arc.
Very layered.
Mhm.
So it's wonderful. I'm guessing.
Do you want to guess what mine is?
I don't know. I'll guess like Breakfast Club or something.
Not
I'm
Breakfast Club.
thinking John Hughes, but I could be wrong.
In that world, but not John Hughes.
Okay, what is it?
It's St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh, Man in Motion.
Yeah. So I think that if I were going to, so I love all the 80s movies. And I mean, where do I begin with this category? This is basically everything Todd and I talk about. But if there's a movie that I get most excited when I see it's on TV that I can pick up at any moment, it's St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah.
Minus the Dale Beaverman, Kirby Kager storyline. That's just boring as
So
all
there
get
is
out.
there is a little bit of there's a weakness in the movie,
There is
and
a
it's the
weakness.
Kirby Dale story.
I don't care about them, and Kirby's stalking her, and Dale is like not doing a great job being like, stop.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying it's her fault. I'm saying that she's just not, as a lot of 80s women, she's not well developed.
No.
I'm like, how is this woman this strong? And she's a doctor, and she's like, allows him to come into her apartment after he's been stalking her at a party. I'm like, what are you doing, Dale? Stop.
What's the meaning of life? Dale Beaverman. Who? Dale Beaverman. Didn't you see her at the hospital tonight? She's a girl that I was madly in love with when we were freshmen. Okay. She's about yay tall.
Oh, Kirby.
Long, dark hair, beautiful face.
Oh, Kirby. So that's my least favorite story.
Okay, remember?
I think my favorite storyline is I really like the what's happening between what's her name? All their names are escaping me.
Jules?
Not Jules.
Wendy?
Oh, not even. I like Wendy and Billy. Like I think that storyline is important. It gives you a lot of context for like who Billy is and
So you're thinking of the Ellie Sheedy character.
like Ellie Sheedy and Judd Nelson, their relationship, and then Kevin. The whole Andrew McCarthy character. I like. It's not like is a strong word. I'm most interested in that triangle, like how that and just how they make Alec, that's his name, Alec Newberry. They make Alec like
And
their
Leslie.
leader, and he's not a great leader.
No.
Like he's not really he's not in his integrity.
No.
And that, not that Kevin's a great leader. I think it was one of those movies where at the end, I kind of understood why she didn't choose either of them. I
Yeah.
think I'd be like, you know what, guys, I'm going to scrap this and I'm going to start over. Let's be friends, because neither of them were really going to benefit her in the long run. She needed to go live her life.
I think the audio is going to be bad, but I got to play it anyways.
Okay.
You can't have the Pretenders' first album. That's mine.
I bought it.
You did not.
You can have all the Billy Joels. Except the stranger.
Except the stranger.
Todd and I say that a lot. So the other movie that is in the kind of this is my only one where I did two, the honorable mention is the humor that Gen X has is because of Airplane. So as far as an 80s movies go, Airplane is like, don't you think that's like the beginning movie of our generation?
So you just told my next one for comedy.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, good.
That's okay.
Like Airplane is Gen X. Like
Yeah.
this is what we thought was funny.
It's because it was.
It was.
The stewardess said both pilots.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Boom.
I mean, I like this kind of what do you call this kind of humor?
Slapstick, right?
Slapstick. It's ridiculous
Yep.
and it's hilarious. And then we had all the naked guns, and I just think these guys, Zucker, was that what their last name was?
Some brothers. I
Yeah,
forget.
and it just kind of established the comedy for
Yeah.
the 80s. So, okay, so your favorite comedy was Airplane. My favorite comedy is Bridesmaids.
I was gonna. That is an honorable mention of mine.
Yeah.
Because it is unbelievable.
And Todd and I have done, by the way, just as Todd's looking up something for Bridesmaids, because I didn't tell him mine ahead of time, so
No.
he's having to find things really quick, is that we have done pop culturing episodes on Bridesmaids. We've done St. Elmo's Fire. We've done Jerry Maguire. And I think that's it from all the movies we've spoken about. But Bridesmaids was, for those of you probably know this, but it was the first all-female comedy written by women. It was produced by Judd Apatow, who was really huge at the time. And obviously it was a breakout role for Melissa McCarthy. We had never seen anything like this.
Melissa McCarthy, the funniest.
Character.
I've never been blown away by somebody who I didn't watch. She was in Gilmore Girls, right?
Right.
I didn't watch Mike and Molly.
Mike and
I
Molly.
never watched any of her stuff. And then I saw this movie and I'm like, this woman is the funniest person I've ever seen.
Thank you, Helen. I just feel like I'm excited and I feel relaxed and I'm ready to party with the best of them. And I'm gonna go down to the river.
Wow, it looks like somebody's really relaxing now.
Yeah, wow. What are you guys talking about up here?
We're going to a restaurant tonight. I know the owner. So it's just having
Oh, Helen knows the owner. So that wasn't Melissa McCarthy. That was Kristen Wiig
Oh my
and
God.
Maya Rudolph and Rose.
If you're ever in a bad mood and you need to laugh, pull YouTube the outtakes to Melissa McCarthy on Bridesmaids.
It's not Bridesmaids. It's
Oh, This Is 40.
This Is
Oh my
40.
God, thank you for that. Yes, I'm just this is one of the funniest movies ever made. for
I
sure.
know. So that is comedy.
Yeah.
So the next one for you, you'll go with you. It's War.
Oh, War. I don't know if I have a good scene for this, but did we skip over one? I feel like we may have skipped over one.
Nope.
No. Oh, I don't have a good. So Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. It's just not. I actually have. It's such a deep, heavy, hard to watch movie for so many reasons, especially the first 15 minutes, which is, I don't even know how to describe it. Impactful. Like I remember watching it in the theater and I'm like, this is unbelievably realistic. And, when we go on the beaches in Normandy, I'm just like, this is unbelievable. But it's well acted and well directed, and it's just a really sweet movie.
Yeah. It gives us a lot of insight, right? My war movie is Star Wars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's a different take.
Yeah. I just feel like, the thing that's always interesting about watching shows that are about the future or dystopian shows or whatever it may be, or movies, is it's telling the same story, right? We repeat cycles, we repeat history. And, Star Wars is about an oppressive regime and the rebels who are willing to risk everything to make things right and make sure that people are taken care of and cared for. Like what else is, and it's funny, as a kid, I didn't get any of that, right? I just like the cantina scene. That's really all. But this is, it's everybody's favorite movie.
I'm gonna take a liberty here,
Okay.
and instead of playing a scene from Star Wars, I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
play a spoof from Star Wars.
You're gonna play Bill Murray?
No, that SNL did, Undercover Boss. And it's where Kylo Ren is going undercover on the Death Star.
Adam Driver was
Adam
hosting,
Driver's
yeah.
on it.
You guys like working here? You know, work is work. Yeah, totally. What do you guys think of Kylo Ren? Do you guys believe when he says that he's gonna finish what Darth Vader started? What exactly has he started? You know, I will say this for Kylo. I think he gets a bad rap. What? Yeah. He's trying to accomplish something that's never been done in the history of the galaxy. You know, rule everything. That's impressive. I admire the guy. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, wait, this one.
Real easy. All you got to do is rewire the calcinator.
So remove this.
Does that look like the calcinator? What's wrong with you? Why is it so hard for you to understand?
I don't know, but can you please stop yelling at me? You're starting to stress me out.
I haven't got my muffin, Matt. Yeah, sorry to make fun of one of my favorite movies of all time, but that's pretty damn funny.
It was really good.
Okay, next category is
Western.
Western. I didn't have one.
You have no Westerns?
I mean, I trusted my gut, and I don't. I mean, I love Dances with Wolves. That's not a Western.
Sure it is.
I don't think
Of course
so.
it is.
Is it?
Of course it
Fine,
is.
I'll go Dances with
That could
Wolves.
have been a war movie too.
I think of Dances with Wolves as not a.
Hey, if there's horses, cowboys,
Then you're gonna give it to me.
yes.
Yeah. So once again, Kevin Costner showing up a lot in my
I
list.
know.
One of the best. That's one of the best movies of all time.
Wind in his hair.
Wind in his hair. Stands with a fist.
Stands with a fist. We love Dances with Wolves. That's a good one to watch with. I know that there is a sex scene in Dances with Wolves, and there's obviously a lot of violence
Oh yeah.
and a lot of pain.
Yes.
But if once your kids are old enough, it's a great
Movie because
for discussion.
we're just so used to being the good guys.
Yeah.
And in that movie, us white folks are not the good guys.
Dumb Bear.
Dumb Bear. What do you have?
I have Legends of the Fall.
Oh, interesting.
Which is a movie that I don't even know if it really, got into the zeitgeist very much. It was Brad Pitt and Anthony Hopkins and Aidan Quinn.
Aidan Quinn, yeah.
And I was obsessed with this movie for a long time. It's a very long movie. It generations, kind of shows you a long period of time. 3 boys, and actually, who else is in it? Elliot. Elliot from E.T., who's now in all the Mike Flanagan movies. What's his real name? His name Thomas something Thomas. Anyway.
Yeah.
They're 3 brothers, and they live with their dad. Their mom basically left, and they are very different men, and they all unfortunately fall in love with the same woman. It's kind of Brad Pitt at his best in many ways, in every way that Brad Pitt can be best. So much so that
he's kind of like angelic in that movie.
Well, he's beautiful. They talk about, he's not just beautiful in the way he looks, but he's one with nature. He reveres Native American culture, and there's Native American families that live on their land that were protected by the family, thank goodness. And he learns from them, like that he has reverence for the land. So but I loved him so much that Todd and I were going to name our 3rd child Tristan if we had a boy. And we had Skylar, who we named after a character in Good Will Hunting. And Skylar's like, you could have named me Tristan.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know why we thought it had to, but I love Skylar too. So,
yeah.
But that's Brad.
Maybe we should change your name 15 years after the fact.
Maybe.
The next genre or next category is horror.
Yeah. I know what mine is. You know what mine is.
Yours is going to be Halloween.
Correct.
Yes. Why is Halloween your pick, sweetie, over all the other good movies out there?
Because Halloween is the first movie that scared the crap out of me. And I was too young to watch it, and it messed me up, and I got obsessed with it. And it was the beginning of my love of horror movies. And I still love horror movies. I can't watch them the way I did when I was a teenager. They have to be excellent. You have to show me a horror movie that has all the pieces, like a Get Out kind of movie.
Yeah.
Or like we've talked about Mike Flanagan's TV shows, Haunting of Hill House or Bly Manor or Midnight Mass. Like I will invest if there is something to be said. And Halloween's just scary. First horror movie you have the perspective of the killer,
of the bad guy.
So you're looking through the eyes of Michael Myers. And so that was new, and lots of we could do a deep dive into Halloween some other time.
I should have thought this through, because the one I'm about to give to you, I realize is not my favorite horror movie anymore, because you just mentioned it. Get Out is my favorite. It's just an unbelievably good movie.
Yes.
But instead I'm going to play a scene from the one I thought I was going to give.
Okay.
And it's Sixth Sense.
Oh, sure.
And it's
sure.
really powerful. And you give me the sign when you want me to stop playing this clip. But this is just a really heartfelt scene of the young boy, I forget his name, Haley Joel Osment's character, is talking to his mom in the car.
Oh, and that's Toni Collette.
Yes.
Who no one knew who that was then, and now everybody does.
Grandma says hi. She says she's sorry for taking the bumblebee pendant. She just likes it a lot.
What?
Grandma comes to visit me sometimes.
Cole, that's very wrong. Grandma's gone, you know that.
I know. She wanted me to tell you. Oh, she wanted me to tell you she saw you dance. She said, when you were little, you and her had a fight. Right before your dance recital. You thought she didn't come to see you dance. She did.
Makes me cry.
She hid in the back so you wouldn't see.
Is that good?
She said you were.
The second half is just as
Cole.
powerful.
Isn't that his name, Cole?
I don't know.
But they were both nominated for Academy
Oh my
Awards,
God.
those two.
And that movie has nowadays you can't do twists anymore.
No.
Because everybody does TikToks on them before you go see the movie. But
that was the first scary movie we showed our girls, and obviously at different times. But
yeah.
When JC started getting interested in scary movies, we said, let's start with this and see how you do.
Yeah.
Because it's scary, and there is some violence in it, some things that pop outs and such, but I think it's a good starter for a kid who's starting to get really interested.
Yeah. Okay, so the next category, my sweetheart, is Mob.
Mob.
You want to go first or you want me to?
I think we probably have the same one.
Oh, I think we do too. Let me play my clip.
Where have you been? I haven't seen you. You haven't even called or anything. Where have you been?
Well, I've been working nights.
And?
Well, tonight we were out late. We took a ride out to the country and we hit one of those deers. I tell you, a blood came from. I told you, Jimmy told you before. Anyway, it reminds me, I need this knife. I'm gonna take this, okay?
Okay, yeah.
I just need it for a little while.
Back though,
Well, the poor thing, I hit him in his, we hit the deer in his paw, what do you call it?
The paw.
The paw,
The hoof.
Oh.
To take this. She's like, okay, just bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back. If any of our kids wake us up in the middle of the night and ask us for a big knife, that's a sign.
Or to feed us a big Italian dinner.
Yes.
Yes, that was Goodfellas, everybody.
Yes, Goodfellas. And that was yours, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
that was mine too. And we also did pop culturing about Goodfellas.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
We?
Yeah.
Very good.
We went deep into that movie.
Any parental ties to Goodfellas that we can offer?
Just don't do what they're doing.
Yeah. It's just don't do what they're doing. That's very good. Overrated. I didn't have one.
Overrated. You don't have any overrated movies? I'm sure you use that word all the time. You'll be like, this is overrated.
I know, but I can't think of the most overrated.
Okay. My most overrated movie, and sorry for all of you like cinephiles who love this movie. Citizen Kane is boring.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Citizen Kane. I took a cinema class, a few cinema classes in college. Everybody makes you watch Citizen Kane. If you look at the movies, like top 100 movies of all time, maybe it's been kicked out recently, but everybody talks about Citizen Kane. It's got a lot to do with how it was shot. The director was Orson Welles. It was a lot about lighting and things I didn't understand at the time, but it's boring. I'm like, I don't get it. How can this be the number one movie? So hot take.
I would love to say it's overrated, but I've never seen it.
Wow.
I just asked the chat.ai what the most overrated movies of all time are. Number one is Avatar.
Oh, interesting. I liked Avatar.
Titanic.
No,
that's a great
Titanic's the best.
English Patient, never seen it.
Boring, but it was good.
Forrest Gump, awesome.
Awesome.
La La Land.
I was on La La Land.
Da Vinci Code. That's a good overrated. I mean, not a good. That's a good selection.
Sure.
50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, awful.
Yeah. Ooh, Godfather Part 3. I don't think it's overrated. I think people hate that movie.
Yeah.
And then the Hobbit trilogy.
I considered doing the Lord of the Rings thing, but I didn't want to make people mad.
No.
And I didn't invest the way I did in Star Wars. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's hard for me to really be a spokesperson on that.
Yeah. Romantic.
Okay. Romantic movie.
I actually chose romantic comedy.
Okay.
And I'm going to play a clip from it. Here
Okay.
we go.
Good friend of,
Amanda's. I can't believe you can't remember her name.
what do you mean? I can remember Amanda, right? Amanda Rice.
Reese.
Reese, right. That's what I said.
That's what I said.
Whatever happened to her?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? You were really good friends with her. We didn't make it because you were such good friends.
You went with her.
And was it worth it? The sacrifice for a friend that you don't even keep in touch with?
Harry, you might not believe this, but I never considered not sleeping with you a sacrifice.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, just an unbelievable, great movie.
And we have a pop culturing about When Harry Met Sally
We
as
do.
well.
There's a lot of overlap here.
And then another one, my favorite romantic movie is Say Anything.
Oh.
And I found I watched Say Anything when I was 18 and having the same experience, or 17, and having the same experiences that they were. It was one of those movies where it was like right at the exact same time I was that age, getting ready, thinking about leaving for college. And it's interesting because I love Lloyd Dobler and I love the whole story. And I think they were, I love all of it, but I couldn't relate to the leaving the country or the leaving together kind of thing. Like I didn't, I think a lot of people asked after that movie, will they stay together? And it'll be hard.
Right.
I don't know. I even knew then, I thought, oh gosh, they have such different paths, but they needed each other then. And that's all that matters. So Say Anything is beautiful and was also one of my favorite John Cusack, performances, because he had a lot of good stuff in the 80s.
Right. Lord, man, you can't even trust them, man. Because you know what it's about? They spend your money and they tell their friends everything, man. It's about economics. They tell them everything, man.
All you got to do is find a girl that looks just like her, tailor, and then dump her, man. Get it off your mind.
Your only mistake is that you didn't dump her first. Diane Court is a show pony. You need a stallion, my friend. Walk with us and you walk tall.
Walk tall.
Everybody in the background is just,
I know.
Again, it's just that whole scene is shot so perfectly. So yes, that's another Cameron Crowe movie. He also did Jerry Maguire and Almost Famous and a lot of other good ones.
I don't know how good this is going to be, but I gotta see.
So we did Romantic and now we are on.
Maybe it's because of her father.
I want to do Lloyd, old Nolan Boyd. It's such a good scene, but I can't find it.
That's the same scene.
Yeah, I know.
Did that one just end?
Yes.
Oh, it
Yeah, they
did.
didn't
Okay.
Finish it up. Okay, so next category is
musical.
Musical. I think I thought about doing Hamilton.
Oh,
but it
that'd
was
be
a
good.
play.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really count.
I mean, they made it into a movie, but it's not the origins, I
But
guess.
instead I chose this.
Help you, boys?
You got any white bread?
Yes.
I'll have some toasted white bread, please.
You want butter or jam on that toast, honey?
No, ma'am. Dry. Got any fried chicken?
Best damn chicken in the state.
Bring me 4 fried chickens and a Coke.
You want chicken wings or chicken legs?
4 fried chickens and a Coke.
And some dry white toast, please.
And that is Blues Brothers.
Chicago.
I've probably seen that movie. Geez, I don't even know how long or how many times, but it's been dozens and dozens and dozens.
Yeah.
What do you have?
I kind of went in a strange direction. I had written down a bunch of things, but then I realized the musical, because we have another one coming up that's best soundtrack.
Mhm.
That's coming up in a second. So I kind of had to play with this. And my favorite musical is Tangled.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, like this is the movie that I think it was really inspirational to me. I cried through Tangled the first time I watched it. I just could really relate, especially when she's trying to leave and then she's sad she left and then she's excited she left. I was like, oh my God, that is so perfect. And then my girls loved this movie. We all as a family love this movie. We have so many jokes from this movie. I think it's the best Disney movie. I know Frozen's great. Everything's great, but this one means the most to me.
I agree. And I'm just gonna put, I don't know what scene to play.
I've got a dream. That's like my favorite scene. I've got some dreams.
I've got some dreams.
Yeah, like there's so much good humor in this movie too. Like, they all have humor. Toy Story was funny and everything, but I felt like the humor in Tangled was more my sense of humor. Like Maximus, the horse, and then you've got like the whole thing with the frying pan, and it's just very funny.
I'm malicious, mean and scary. My sneer could curdle dairy, and violence-wise my hands are not the cleanest. But despite my evil look and my temper and my hook, I've always yearned to be a conscious pianist. Can't you see me on the stage performing?
Yeah.
And then also the Mother Gothel.
I love you more. I love you most.
Just great characters. So Tangled.
Best soundtrack. Oh no, watch over and over. Well,
Gosh.
you already said Spotlight.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that. Instead, I'm just going to play this, which is a movie you and I have seen a bazillion times.
Whatever you guys got on these power procedures.
Gene, they're already.
No, I don't want the whole damn Bible. Just give me a couple chapters. We got to get something up to these guys.
They're working on it now.
I'll call over to the simulator and get an estimate.
I don't want another estimate. I want the procedures now.
Sweetie, what's that from?
God, I'm totally lost.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe you don't know this.
Everybody just, I can't see it. I
Yeah.
can only hear it. Oh, I know. I got it. Apollo 13.
There you go.
There it is. Okay. I was like procedures. It's
Oh, yeah.
Apollo 13.
Yeah, and it's just a random movie that I think even maybe before we got married, we would pop this on before we were going to sleep. And I don't know. I spent a year watching this as I was going to sleep.
A lot of good. We love everybody in this movie. A lot of good Gary Sinise stuff.
Yeah, and Ed Harris.
Ed Harris.
And Tom
Kevin
Hanks.
Bacon.
Yeah. So yeah, it's rock.
So for me, watch over and over. For you and I, this is hard, right? Because how many movies do we watch over and over?
Quite a few.
And I had to kind of play with. I ended up with. I'm going to tell you what I wrote down, but then as we've been going through, I realized is more true. I wrote down The Hangover.
Okay.
Which we actually just did a pop culturing on. I feel like it's one of those movies I can put it on at any place. I can start it from the very beginning. I can put it on in the middle. I've watched it a million times. Again, we did a whole show about it, so you can listen to that if you want to. But then the movie that I also watch over and over is The Fugitive. So this was hard for me.
And what are you going with?
I'm going to go with The Hangover.
Okay, that's good because I have that queued up.
Stu, you're a dentist. Hey, don't try and get fancy.
It's not fancy if it's true.
He's a dentist. Don't get too excited. And if someone has a heart attack, you should still call 911.
Oh, that was a fun pop culture.
It was.
We did.
We
for
had
sure.
a good time.
Yeah, Bradley. It's just the trio.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper, Ed
and
Helms.
it's the original. It's got the right vibe.
Yeah.
The other two were not good. And
Yeah.
this was unpredictable. And again, I'd never seen a show or a movie like it.
So your next category that you sent to me is best soundtrack.
Yes.
I assume what you mean is the best movie that has a good soundtrack.
Well, best soundtrack. Just,
All right. Well,
from a movie.
I'm just going to play this song and then
Okay.
you're going to tell me what movie it's from.
Oh, good one, Todd.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't think about this one.
So this is the song called Drown by the Smashing Pumpkins. And it is from what movie, my darling?
Singles.
And it was just in Yellow Jackets.
Yes. Yellow Jackets is using all the 90s music.
Yes, they are.
So it's really fun to watch what they pick.
And when I think of singles, I think of Bridget Fonda, who I had a big time crush on, and Matt Dillon, who's hilarious.
And we were, again, similar to Say Anything, we were their age when the movie came out. We
that's
were the
probably
same age.
pretty impactful
Yes.
on movie experiences because you can understand them better, which is probably why we like Friends so much.
And exactly. And the music was so influential. Like
Yeah.
you can't singles is all about the music. It's all about the soundtrack and the
Yeah.
new sound that we were
What do you got?
I chose Purple Rain.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So impactful. I think it came out when I was in 7th or 8th grade, and it was the first movie that I saw on like a VHS tape. I remember a good guy friend of mine had a party and we all watched it together, which was incredible. And it's Prince. I mean, what can I say? It's the best of the best. Every song, not just the popular ones. You know what? This is not the one. I love Purple Rain, but play Let's Go Crazy. That's what starts the movie. So
is that how it starts?
Another thing that I love is a really good beginning to a movie, like where they just bring you in right away. And Purple Rain starts with this song. So it's like it right away you're in his world.
Let's start from the top, shall we?
Sure.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get this thing called life.
Wow, they kind of chopped up the beginning.
Well, that's probably the music video you're showing.
Oh, it's just, it looks like it's from the movie, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think in the movie it goes longer. I think in the video, the music video, they chopped it up a little bit, but
Okay.
it's hard to remember. But you know, every song on there was amazing. And you know, sometimes when I go back and watch Purple Rain, I'm like, huh,
Mhm.
you know, it's not as, you know, it was good when I was young. The movie is a little iffy these days, but the music is awesome.
Mhm.
So, you know,
So I think I'm going to screw up this next category.
Embarrassed to Love.
Because I'm not embarrassed to love it. I am actually proud of loving this movie.
Okay.
But most guys would not share, hey, what movie do you like? So this is typically known as a chick flick.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any idea what I'm about to play?
Let's see. What movie do you love? Is it The Notebook?
No, but that's a great movie.
What movie do you? No, go ahead and play it so I don't think too hard.
From left, he couldn't take it. Jackson left.
Oh yeah.
I find it amusing. Men are supposed to be made out of steel or something. I just sat there. I just held Shelby's hand.
Oh.
Steel Magnolias.
Steel Magnolias. And I always remember that scene because she's right. I'm going to catch flack for this. We're supposed to be these stoic, tough men who can handle anything. And the part where Drum and then the husband bails because they can't handle it. And it makes sense to me. And it also makes sense that Sally Field's character is present for when that baby showed up, and she was present and strong enough and courageous enough for her to say goodbye when Shelby left.
Be there for her.
Be there for her.
Yeah, that's what I can't imagine doing anything different.
Right?
Like that's women, you know, and I'm not
Steel
saying men
Magnolias.
haven't done that. I'm
course.
just saying that women would never leave.
Right.
You would never leave.
Right.
And you know, another Yellow Jackets callback. Misty just did that whole speech.
She did.
2 episodes ago.
Yes, she did.
She did the whole Steel Magnolias Sally
Right.
Field thing. So
What do you got?
my embarrassed to love movie is Dumb and Dumber.
Oh.
I could also put Dumb and Dumber in the watch over and over again movie. Dumb and Dumber got me through a really hard time in my 20s where I was having a breakup and I was going to go live by myself for the first time, and I was changing careers, and there was just a lot going on. And every night I watched Dumb and Dumber because I needed like levity.
Well, and as I'm scrolling through the best scenes, it doesn't really matter which one I play, other than the fact to say Jim Carrey is just a total genius.
I like you can do the
Which one do you want me to do?
Oh, I like that one too. That's fine.
Wait, we're supposed to talk about all expenditures, Lloyd. We are on a very tight budget. This didn't come out of our travel fund. Oh. No, I was able to raise 25 extra bucks before we left. Where did you get 25 extra bucks? I sold some stuff to Billy and 4C. The blind kid?
Yeah. He sold the bird to the blind kid.
The dead bird, Petey.
Petey.
That's a good one, sweetie.
Okay.
That's a good one. What's the next category?
We have 2 more left. Christmas.
Oh yeah, this is a no-brainer. We probably have the same one, I think, or maybe not.
No.
You could get okay. So here we go.
Is your house on fire, Claude?
No, Bethany, those are Christmas lights.
Don't throw me down, Claude.
I'll try not to, Aunt Bethany.
Is this the airport, Claude?
We're here.
Hey, Grizz, me and Bethany figured out the perfect gift for you.
Oh, Uncle Lewis, you didn't have to buy me anything.
Damn it, Bethany, you guessed it.
Oh, that was fun. I love riding in cars. When did you move to Florida? Ellen, are you still dating Claude?
Oh, Aunt Beth.
Is Rusty still in the Navy?
Rusty's still in the Navy.
Oh my God. Christmas Vacation. One of the best sequels of all time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Juliette Lewis.
Yes. What do you have?
I have Die Hard.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
now, there's a whole controversy on whether or not it is a Christmas
of course
movie.
it's a Christmas movie, everybody. There's Christmas music through the whole thing. He's there for Christmas. They're having a Christmas party at Nakatomi Plaza. He's going home to see his kids at Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. So I know people will disagree with me, but that's just, it's Christmas movie. It is. And I will say that the reason that I'm choosing this as my favorite Christmas movie is we watch all the holiday movies, you know, in December, like Skylar makes a schedule. We watch them all, but I get most excited for Die Hard Day.
Yes.
I really do. And because it's just,
You're here to negotiate. Am I right?
oh, Bubby.
You're amazing. You figured this all out already.
Hey, business is business. You use a gun, I use a fountain pen. What's the difference? Let's put it in my terms. You're here in a hostile takeover. You grab us for some green mail, but you didn't expect some poison pill was going to be running around in the building. Am I right? Hans, Bobby, I'm your white knight.
I'm your white knight.
Ellis. He's like one of the best, worst guys of all time.
Oh, he's the worst. But that's in our family, that's our favorite scene. Would you say that's our favorite scene?
Probably.
Hans.
Bobby.
And
And
the last one, Todd, last one, and then the final one is the one we couldn't make fit in these categories.
But did you give me your, okay, so mine.
Your last one is a sequel.
Sequel.
So this is the best sequel.
You believe that story? You believe that?
He said there was something in it for me, on my own.
I've always taken care of you, brother.
Right.
Taking care of me? You're my kid brother, and you take care of me? Did you ever think about that? Huh? Did you ever once think about that? Send Fredo off to do this, send Fredo off to do that. Let Fredo take care of some Mickey Mouse nightclub somewhere. Send Fredo to pick somebody up at the airport. I'm your older brother, Mike, and I was stepped over.
That's the way Pop wanted
It ain't the way I wanted it.
Oof.
Fredo.
Good old Fredo.
So if you were thinking about Succession, who
Yeah.
do you think is Fredo and who do you think's Michael? Or do you think they're just that you can't even categorize? them
No,
that way?
I think there's too much difference between it. I mean, I think Kendall's trying to be Michael.
I think Kendall's trying to be Michael and he's very Fredo-ish.
Yes.
I think he really
That's
is.
exactly. He embodies Michael and Fredo.
Yeah, he is. He's like the combination of the two.
Yeah.
I think that Shiv is kind of Michael.
Yeah. We're into Succession. if you
Okay,
can figure
sorry.
it out.
Okay, so my favorite sequel is The Dark Knight.
Oh,
so Todd and I went to see so I saw Batman Begins and thought it was good and deep. And Christopher Nolan's movies are amazing, but we went to see Dark Knight in the theater. And I remember the first thing we experienced was that we were sitting by a very young child, which bothered me a tremendous amount. We did a Zen Parenting Radio about it. Remember, Todd?
Yes, I do.
I was so worried through the whole movie. We had to move because I was so concerned about this kid. But then I remember you and I watched The Dark Knight the first time. I always like to remember how I felt the first time. And we walked out and I said, that is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and it's all about, I know Christian Bale, blah, 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 but it's all
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
his interpretation of that villain. Think about the Joker that we grew up on.
Jack Nicholson's?
No, the one from the TV show from
Oh.
the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Like, he's just kind of a silly cartoon character type guy.
Yeah.
But Heath Ledger is
A
just
chaos agent.
a
Mhm.
freaking scary dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the last
You're not going to play anything?
well, I tried, but it's, I mean,
There's not much to play.
not much there. to
There's
play.
no like, why so serious stuff?
Is that what he says? I don't know that movie that well.
Really?
I can find something.
I do like to watch it. I don't watch it over and over again the way I do the other movies, but I've seen it a lot. It's a that's fine, Todd. You don't need to play anything from it. Dark Knight. We'll move on to our last category, which is the movie that
Hold on.
Oh,
Like me.
Freak.
Guy like me. Look, listen. I know why you choose to have your little group therapy sessions in broad daylight. I know why you're afraid to go out at night. The Batman. See, Batman has shown Gotham your true colors, unfortunately. Dan, he's just the beginning.
He's creepy.
He's creepy. And I actually, speaking of Heath Ledger, my first Western that I wrote down before I did Legends of the Fall, I did Brokeback Mountain. I still love that movie. And I love Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal in it, but I went to Legends of the Fall because it was more honest about the movie that had more of an impact on
Right.
it. But I love Brokeback Mountain too. So last movie that didn't fit any categories, but we wanted to give it a shout out.
Okay. Do you want to go first or you want me to?
No, you go ahead.
Oh boy. I mean, I have 3 movies written down but I'm looking at just one of them.
Let's go beat up Superman. What are you, cracked?
Oh yeah, it's gotta be that, Todd.
Yeah, it's gotta be that.
7 cents for. I haven't found my pennies yet. Well, 237's not bad. Rita Charles is at the end of that little road that goes.
Yeah. I don't know how Stand By Me did not get into any of my categories, but that's the one that I felt the need to mention.
Yeah, Stand By Me. And then mine similarly is a coming of age movie. It's The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I considered putting in a few categories. It just didn't fit perfectly. So I just wanted to give it a shout out because it is one of those movies I can't watch it over and over and over again because I do get too emotional. I don't always cry, but it's very intense for me and for a lot of different reasons. And I just found out that Melanie Lynskey is the aunt in the movie. I didn't know Melanie Lynskey when I saw this the first time, and I just realized this. She's a favorite also from Yellow Jackets. This is our 3rd Yellow Jackets call out. Obviously we love that movie, but Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Yeah. I don't know the movie well enough to pick a scene, but just
tunnel scene.
I know, but will that play on audio that way?
It'll play the song.
Oh, okay, let me do that then. Tunnel. And isn't that like a famous song?
Yeah, it's a David Bowie, We Can Be Heroes.
Yeah. Have our kids seen that movie?
Skylar has. Actually, no. JC has too. I don't know if Cameron has.
And this is the end of the movie.
I think this is the end.
Yeah.
I mean, they play it a few times in the movie, but I think this is the end scene. Are they in the truck driving away?
Yes, they are. People are going to get mad because we didn't bring up Shawshank.
Okay.
But I think that might be the most obvious omission.
It didn't really have except for favorite movie or movie that makes you cry, it didn't really Courtroom. It really wouldn't have fit. It didn't fit in these categories, but Shawshank is one of the best. There's a lot. There's just no way,
So let's see how many we fit into it. So IMDb ranks the top 250 movies of all time.
You're not going to go through all of them.
Yeah, all 250.
No,
top 10.
Okay.
Shawshank, so we missed that one.
Okay.
Godfather, we sort of talked about it. Dark Knight.
Yeah, got that.
Godfather Part 2. 12 Angry Men. Schindler's List.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings. Pulp Fiction.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
Another Lord of the Rings. And then lastly, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Okay.
So we hit about half of them.
We hit about half of them. And Pulp Fiction, gosh, I don't know where I would have put it. Maybe Mob.
Yeah, it's not really a mob movie though.
Yeah. Could have been best soundtrack.
Yeah.
They have a great soundtrack.
true.
But yes, so that's good. Well, Todd, thanks for sharing. And everybody, if you love movies, maybe you enjoyed this one very much. And hopefully if you do love, talking about or listening to movies, go over to Pop Culturing and follow. And for those of you who are ready for us to talk about something deeper, more self-awareness, more connection and mindfulness, we'll be back next week.
Yeah. And I think we're going to talk about swearing.
Yeah. About swearing, why it's actually okay. Is that what you're standing on, Todd?
We're going to dive deep into swearing. How do we deal with kids, when they're 4? How do we deal with them? They're swearing when they're 14.
All right.
All that other stuff. Always want to say thank you to our partner, Jeremy Kraft. He's a bald head of beauty, painting and remodeling throughout the Chicagoland area. His phone number is 630-956-1800. And then don't forget about Men Living. Connect deeply, live fully. Cathy's got a book, Zen Parenting ourselves and our children in an unpredictable world. Lots of good stuff. So just go to zenparentingradio.com. Keep trucking. See you guys all soon. Adios.